in spite of my teenage pregnancy, that I will continue to press past the popularized social norms of the Black community. I worked hard. I graduated from high school 5 months pregnant. During my teenage years, I worked at Burger King.
The other thing that frustrates me is people who have experienced poverty, who have gotten the straps for their bootstraps, who sit and talk about how we shouldn't do anything for the next person.
What's going on, everybody? You guys got to see this, man. This young lady goes into Congress, delivered a testimony that challenged everything people think they know about poverty. And then Ilhan Omar's response is weird and crazy. This exchange goes off the rails. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Latasha Fields. I am the founder of Christian Home Educator Support System in Chicago, Illinois. I want to thank Chairman Yummer for having me, the ranking member Womack, and members of Congress. It's a blessing to be here today. I have been married to Ronald Fields II for 13 and a half years. We are home educators of 4 wonderful children. I have 2 girls, 22 and 3, and 2 boys, 12 and 9. My husband and I are both born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I spent 33 years there before I came to move to Chicago, Illinois, 7.5 years ago to expand our evangelistic work. We serve as the overseers and pastors of our Report Ministries and Publication in Chicago. I am also the founder of Christian Home Educator, which is a homeschool academy, and Christian Home Support System, which is our support group. These are evangelistic outreach ministries to serve and support the families of the city of Chicago and surrounding communities. We provide assistance, resources about home education, cooperative educational and recreational resources, curriculum and parental rights issues, and much more. Our mission is to empower parents to take back the responsibility of educating their children.
Hey, I'm telling you, I love everything that this young lady is saying. I am for certain that those on the left, especially on Ilhan Omar, who is about to go unhinged, they don't like anything that this young lady said because they don't want parents to have control of their children. They want kids locked into this terrible institution called public school systems, and they want no parts of the gospel being preached and taught to people. We know, those of us on this side of things, we know that if people got more Jesus and really got into the word, start living according to the word, lives would change, lives would improve, poverty would decrease, but the left wants no parts of that.
I am also the state coordinator of parentalrights.org, a volunteer of Junior Achievement of Chicago, and a member of Cure Clergy Network. I also have over 19 years of entrepreneur experience, with 14 of those years being consecrated in the real estate industry and several certifications in property management and nonprofit housing. I am also a recent graduate of Trinity Christian College in Palo Heights, Illinois, with a bachelor's degree in business administration with a 4.0 GPA. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey, which is nothing short of the grace of God towards me. My grandmother, who raised me, also raised 9 kids of her own, was a homeowner living in a poor Black drug-infested community in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She raised me and my younger sister. My mom was a teenage mom on drugs, in and out of prison. My grandmother was a strong woman, hardworking woman. She showed tough love and had amazing independent work ethics. So I basically grew up in the typical Black stigma community surrounding me: the lack of motivation for education, promiscuous behavior, drugs, crime, and some on welfare. In spite of the circumstances that surrounded my childhood, I was one that often fought against the odds. I had a love for education. I never did drugs and I never committed a crime. But however, I did fall into promiscuous behavior, and at the age of 17, I became a teenage mom. This was the turning point of my life. I will never forget the day that I found that I was pregnant. I went into a Planned Parenthood in my neighborhood. I was devastated, I was frightened, and I was scared, because I was one of those kids that excelled in school, was popular in school, played sports, was on the homecoming court. You name it, I was in it. So basically, I kept myself from the normalized behaviors that plagued the Black community. So becoming pregnant was embarrassing to me. I didn't want to be like the rest. I had always strived to be better. I didn't want to be like the social norm. I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be the 72% of moms raising a child single. So while waiting for the results of my pregnancy test, I was crying and I was thinking how I had ruined my life. The nurse came back in the room and she told me that I was 3 weeks pregnant, and she consoled me that I had another choice. I had a choice to abort my baby.
Of course.
In that very moment, my life flashed before my eyes, because I had a big decision to make. Do I get rid of my baby and proceed as normal, as though nothing happened, and go back to my family and friends and continue to live out my life? Or do I live the rest of my life knowing I had killed my baby? Do I keep my baby and face the challenges that lie ahead of me and press past the shame, the regret, and the disappointments? I chose the latter. I chose to do what I will always hear my grandmother say: you make your bed hard, you lie in it. Those words rang loud and clear in my heart and mind. Yes, we did this. No one else is responsible for the choice we made. I must take responsibility for my actions and live with it. Live the best possible life I can, give my child the best possible life I can, finish high school, go to college, and make something of myself.
How many of you guys had good grandparents, good parents that just, they always had these old school sayings that just stuck with you? I remember my grandfather used to tell me all the time, "Hey son, a hard head will make a soft behind." He used to say that to me all the time because I was one of them hard-headed kids. How many of you guys got some of those old statements, anecdotes, whatever you call them? I'm not even sure exactly what you call them, but how many of you guys, if you do have some, put them in the comment section for me.
I decided, in spite of my teenage pregnancy, that I would continue to press past the popularized social norms of the Black community. I worked hard. I graduated from high school 5 months pregnant. During my teenage years, I worked at Burger King. I was a part of an entrepreneurial program that we had. I worked there throughout my high school years, from 15 till I graduated. But I was a mom, so I had to continue working at Burger King to provide for myself and my baby. I lived with my grandmother for several months after I had her, and she encouraged me to get on food stamps, to receive WIC, and to receive child care assistance. During this time, she also helped me to get my first apartment. After about 9 months of renting, the real estate company asked me did I want to buy a house. I was shocked. I was excited. I went through the first-time home buyers program, and I purchased a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house at 18 years old.
All right now.
After 2 years of being on food stamps, I found myself increasingly growing to hate the program. I felt awful while I was on the program. It was such a level of disrespect and deprivation. I couldn't take it any longer. I removed myself from the food stamp program. But however, due to me working and going to college, I had to remain on child care assistance. After having my baby in 1996, buying my home in 1997, the same real estate company offered me a job. I became a secretary, later a rental assistant manager, and later in December 2005, I became a licensed real estate agent. However, from 1996 to early 2005, I was a single mom, working hard, working 2 jobs sometimes, going to college and maintaining honors. By November 2004, I gave my life to Christ, met my husband, we got married October 2005. After becoming a Christian, I became an ordained minister. My faith began to challenge and propel me to work for families and kids and tackle the problems that plague the Black communities. I lived it, and I wanted to reverse the plague. I had begun and purposed in my heart that I would become that change and advocate for my family and friends. In 2006, I felt compelled by God to take more responsibility for my daughter's education. I took her out of the public education in the 4th grade, and I wanted to give her a Christian education by homeschooling her. So
Liberals don't like that. This story right here, liberals do not like this story because they want people dependent upon them, dependent upon the system. This lady's story, it's not miraculous. It's not a miracle that she made it. It's not. There's a bunch of people out there that could tell a story very similar, but the left does not want these stories told. And that's why Ilhan Omar is going to go off. We're going to get there. We're going to let her continue this testimony.
we did. My husband and I did not know what that would entail, but we obeyed God. Later, in 2007, we opened up a Christian homeschool academy as an extension of our evangelistic work. My husband and I are now homeowners in Chicago, Illinois for the last 3 years. My husband is the owner of his own barbershop in the South Shore community in Chicago for the last 5 years.
Amen.
And we are continuing our ministerial work with our Christian school and our co-op group to support the families in the city of Chicago.
Mr. Fields, if you could.
But I thought they said the white man, wouldn't let you do this. Al Sharpton said you got that boot on that knee on your neck to keep you from doing these types of things.
Wrap it up. Your time is considerably over, so
it
you
is.
can wrap it up. You can make a concluding
Oh,
statement.
wrap it up, okay. And one more point, that we graduated our oldest daughter, she's 22, from being homeschooled all the way to 12th grade. We graduated her from our homeschool academy, and now she just walked across the stage from the University of Bridgeport with a degree in nutritional science with a 3.1 GPA from being homeschooled. Thank you.
Are there
Amen.
examples of successful anti-poverty programs that you have been a part of that address these problems for youth?
Thank you, Member Flores. Yeah, and that's I'm hearing everybody testify as well over the same thing, and I'm finding it hard to understand why, when the word is said hard work, why is that interpreted in a different way? I realize all of us sitting here, everyone in this room has worked hard to some extent. But what we're saying is, and I believe you all would agree, that even where you all sit as representative, Congress, and senators, you did not do it by not working hard.
Facts.
And so we just need to understand what that word means. We're saying that you have to persevere, you have to endeavor. And for me, I grew up in the same environments that everyone sitting here is testifying about. Again, my mother was on drugs, in and out of prison. My grandmother did not have federal aid. My grandmother bought a house in 1972 working as a janitor at Louisiana State University.
I'm for certain her grandmother's black too.
So before the civil rights, there was no federal aid, there was no welfare and food stamp. So I'm sorry if I come from an environment where I have seen that you do not have to rely on government. You can work hard and persevere no matter how long it takes, and that's what I did. I got the food stamps for a couple of years, so I'm not here to say totally dissolve it. People do need help, but what I'm here to say, and especially working in the real estate industry, it doesn't have to be perpetual. You know, you got families that
And it doesn't have to be permanent.
pass Section 8 and welfare down like it's an inheritance. The Bible says we ought to lay up an inheritance for our children, sure, and it's not government entitlement.
When you said you homeschooled your kids, I want to understand what values you teach them.
Oh, I definitely teach them personal responsibility. And even to add to that, what you were saying about trade, me and my husband both, even though I have a bachelor's degree, I also have a trade. My husband is a barber, he has a trade. We have lived the life they're saying with the living wages. I bought a house making $4.25 an hour.
All right
We
now.
understand living on wages, but the way we got out of poverty is what you're saying, is we got trade, we went and got an education. And me and my husband talk about that all the time. If the government could make trade more accessible, you know, spend those federal dollars so people can sharpen their skills and get out. My husband just bought us a 3-bedroom home, 2 full bath home in Chicago, being a barber with a trade. He has a 10th grade education, and he did it with a trade skill. So those are the kind of programs that we should be advocating for our government, to sharpen our skills, bring back those trade skills into the Black community so that we can rise above poverty. We can't do it with just a high school education all the time. We need trade, we need skills.
Oh, she don't want to, the left don't want that. They don't want people to gain skills. They want people that are perpetual victims, and they want people 100% dependent upon them. Well, let's get into Ilhan Omar.
I'm a little frustrated because I heard a lot about love. And one thing that I know is it's not because of the lack of love that we're not able to feed our children. It's not because of the lack of love that we are able to house people. It's not the lack of love that we are unable to save people from dying because they don't have health care. It's not because of lack of love that you were able to finish college because you got help with childcare. Love has nothing to do with this. And if you want to bring love into this, you got to bring radical love. Because radical love means that we radically love every single person within our communities to make sure that we are providing for them the basic rights as humans. That's what love is. And that's the godly thing to do. So if we want to talk about faith, we also have to remember that we can't pray our problems away.
Exactly.
You can't pray for your children to be fed, so you're not crying because they're crying and they can't go to bed. You cannot pray for your medical bills to disappear. You cannot pray for the mold to stop poisoning your children in the classrooms. The other thing that frustrates me is people who have experienced poverty, who have gotten the straps for their bootstraps, who sit and talk about how we shouldn't do anything for the next person.
No one said that. At least, this young lady, she didn't say that. She said it shouldn't be perpetual and it shouldn't be passed down from generation to generation. We understand that there are people that need a helping hand from time to time, and we should give those people a helping hand with a time limit. But you must be willing to work. The Bible says that a man that doesn't work should not eat. Simple as that. And if you keep giving people, with no restrictions, no ramifications or anything along those lines. They become perpetual victims, and it doesn't actually help them. It actually becomes a hindrance to them.
See, as someone who knows severe poverty, I lived in a refugee camp on the floor, no water, nothing. And I hear somebody say here in the United States, they're fine with their grandparents not having running water? And that's supposed to be okay? Or we hear someone say, it was a choice made up to me to have my children and not be like the other black people who get to have children out of wedlock. We don't get to have those kind of conversations. The conversations we get to have.
Well, why not? Why not? People taking some personal accountability, personal agency.
Is how
Why is she yelling?
we are responsible for fully funding our schools so all of our children have the opportunities we have as we sit in this room. We get to talk about the kind of opportunities we have as government to make sure healthcare is provided to everybody so that we don't have people dying in the United States because they can't afford insulin. The conversation we get to have is making sure that there are no children going to sleep hungry or being shamed in classrooms and in lunchrooms because their families don't have enough money to pay for their lunch. The conversation we get to have about the kind of poverty we have in this country is the kind of poverty that says it is okay for us to take photo pictures with veterans and be okay with the fact that they're sleeping on the streets here in the United States. So as an immigrant, as someone who came to this country, hearing about American exceptionalism and prosperity, I am appalled that we get to sit here and have conversations as Americans about being the most charitable country in the world and not being charitable enough to house our homeless, feed our children, care for our veterans. What is charitable about that? So I ask you, the kind of systematic barriers that exist in prosperity, that's the conversation we should be having.
But there is no systematic barriers when it comes to prosperity. Everybody has an opportunity. Everybody does. Everybody has an opportunity, and we got to get these people like this out of Congress. I understand how she's in there because she's in a district where the majority of people look like her and they're going to vote her. Super emotional, super irrational, and didn't make a whole lot of sense in her statement. 4% of the world's population has a blue passport. 4%. This is the wealthiest nation. Even what we consider poverty here is nothing in comparison to poverty around the world. And you get people to come over here and want to point fingers and yell, scream, and lash out when there's a plethora of opportunities out here for people. But you can't legislate a mindset. You can't make people want more, be more than what they actually want to be. You can't. And at the same time, we also shouldn't be in the business of legislating people ability to continue to make poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. I understand, when it comes to children, they don't get to choose their parents. They don't get to choose the family that they come from. They don't. But at some point, we have to tell people enough is enough. You got to get off the government dole. And if you want to be on the government dole, there's going to be a time frame, there's parameters, and there's restrictions. And the goal isn't for you to be on it in perpetuity because you live in America, one of the wealthiest nations in the world, if not the wealthiest nation in the world. And yet there's all types of opportunities in all types of ways to take care of you and to provide for your family. And the pastor was absolutely right. She was absolutely right. People need to take personal accountability and personal agency for their lives and stop looking to the government to save them. But see, that's what the Democrat Party wants. The Democrat Party wants you on the government dole. They want you with a mindset of give me just enough to survive, never enough to thrive, never enough to actually make it off of this. Because what everybody knows is that once you get on that government dole, it's a wrap for you. More times than not, it's like an opium fix. It just slowly but surely you become addicted to it. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload, and consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. And the Lord hit my chest, kicked death from my breath, put power in my step.